Good evening, everybody. Nice summer evening here in Pittsburgh, other than the fact we just had a hard rainstorm go through. I think Sandy left the barn doors all open, so I'm sure we got a good huddle in the barn today. All right, so we've had a very good profitable week or so of trading. So now we have to kind of analyze what is the next prospects of price moves from here. And in this case, it's not unusual to see when they come up through a resistance level, they'll consolidate and come back and test it to see if it's going to act as support. So both the Dow and the S&P 500 did shooting star type days today. So this is again where the relevancy. That's right, the forces. Is this the right place for the Monday night stock chat? Yes, John, you're at the right place. So if we kind of know the expectations for the what could happen, we know that if we saw a gap up shooting star today, stochastic's just now getting up in the overbought area, that if they open lower tomorrow, where's the next likely target? Back to the 50. So that kind of says, all right, if I've got things that are starting to show a little bit of weakness, maybe might be taking some profits. That's probably what's going to happen. However, there's another facet to that. They come back and support on the 50 and start back up, you want to start buying with both feet. That tells you not only do you have a J-hook pattern, but the fact that they're not letting it close back below the 50 indicates there's going to be a lot of strength in the next price move. So we also have to watch to see how they open the NASDAQ, because shooting star failure right here at the 50. If they trade it lower, what do we got setting up? Maybe a bobble breakout setup. Okay, so with that, let's take a gander at some of the futures. We can see what's happening in crude oil. Looks like it's trying to bottom, but it's still not able to get back up through the T-line. But, again, this means absolutely nothing. I have an idea with the amount of crude oil that the U.S. is starting to produce, that we're going to be kind of in a sideways range for quite a while, just because of our own control of the supply and demand, especially now that the U.S. is a net exporter. You can decide how much you want to export or keep in the country. The grains. You can see what's happened to soybeans. Came right back up into this trend channel. Now watching to see if it's going to do a J-hook pattern. Now, the suspicion is that the grains are going to act stronger, because there was quite a few, or quite a big percentage acreage of crops that weren't planted this year. So that's going to put some bullish price on supply and demand. We recommended this one today because of the J-hook pattern setup. Now, it traded positive No, we didn't recommend it today. I'm sorry. We recommended this Friday. What is today? Today's Monday. Recommended this Friday on the basis if you had kind of a scoop breakout, you can still, what the heck, still be buying this one on positive trading with that scoop prospect. A few of the other ones that we're holding, there's the Bobble breakout on HIIQ. Still looking for it to have the possibility of going up to the 200-day moving average. IOVA. You can see how this has stayed up above the T-line. However, you're starting to move a little bit away from the T-line, but your stochastics, for some reason, aren't up in the overbought area. Better check that. Make sure my stochastics are correct. Yes, they're correct. All right, and CSIQ, you can see how this took off. It did a doji right here at this level. So, and you're in the overbought area. So if you had bought long in here, put your safety stop right down here, because if they start selling it off, what's it tell us about our dojis up here? They're occurring right at the same level it topped out before. And look what's happening on Genco, another one of the solos. Came out of this fry pan bottom. Oh, we had a question, or I had somebody email me a question that is the setups or identifying the high probability breakout trades for this Saturday, is that the same thing as the top ranked signals and patterns? And the answer is no, kinda. It's taking some of those high ranked signals and patterns and kind of going much more into depth of when you want to start looking to be buying either stocks or the calls on those. So it's more of an analysis of what your eyes should be looking for when you're looking for a pattern breakout situation, or which ones to scan for, or when you see them working, which ones have the best probabilities of producing a big breakout move. So X-ray was one of those that we recommended. You can see kind of the scoop fry pan bottom. Defrog. You can see kind of the scoop setup. So I would think if this one started trading positive tomorrow, at least your next target is coming up here to test the 200-day moving average, giving you a decent percentage move. The ones that really are working, though, are the kicker signals. They're really working. Notice what happened in Plan today. Shooting star in the overbought area. Pick a spot where it shouldn't trade, like the halfway point of this candle right here. But the kicker signals have been working effectively. This is another one where the big breakout type moves are going to be illustrated by the strength of the individual candlestick signal or pattern. As we can see, on this trend kicker, how NVCR continued its uptrend. And things like ATNX, we could see when that was breaking out. That's why I kind of put a lot of attention in the chat room on this as it started breaking out over the last few days because of this fry pan bottom breakout of this area, wave 1, wave 3 in progress. I don't know what that's, oh, there's another one. RCM. Yeah, so it's also right here. So this is the type of thing we're going to be kind of analyzing. As you can see the pattern set up, you can see the scoop type pattern, not scoop, but cradle pattern that set things up. But we also know what would happen tomorrow on a high probability trade if this opens positive tomorrow. You know we're going to probably have a candle the same magnitude as this, a doji sandwich, telling us that this resistance level isn't going to hold. Now, we kind of expect this, but there's nothing keeping this from being a big price move. I'm going to do a sound check. Can everybody hear me all right? Okay, good, because sometimes, all right. Sometimes I discovered I'm sitting here talking to myself. And then things like GH. Here's another one where we could see the exact level. There's that slow curve breakout telling us we had a high probability. Best audience don't say anything. So this is the type of thing that we want to start getting everybody to identify. And the reason we're trying to do this, or I'm trying to do this, is we want to be ready to buy at this point. Because if we go in the chat room and say, yeah, our GH is still acting well, I know there'll be people saying, can we buy this now? And that's not the point of learning where to be buying. This is probably a hold. What we want everybody to be able to identify is where are the points that you want to get ready to buy. Based upon where is the high probability breakout levels. Okay. Amazon. Take a look at the biggies. Closed above the 50-day moving average today. Apple closed below. So this is where you kind of watch to see if it's going to do a bobble pattern. Now the reason you want to identify the different patterns is if this does a bobble and it comes back up through here, you know you have an extremely high probability of a positive trade setup. Now Netflix, on the other hand, told us what happened right here. Again, a very simple prospect. This is why no matter what trades I have on, I always have a safety stop someplace. Because you can never tell when things going to happen, especially when you get up in the overbought area. I'm more apt to have a safety stop in just because I don't want to have to make a decision. If I start seeing come down, I'm thinking, maybe they'll turn around and take it back up. If I have a stop already preset, that keeps me from having to make a decision, which is usually a non-decision, and keeps me in a position way too long. And Tesla, as you can see, is still trading higher today. Okay, so some good looking charts. whenever you see the message, remember the message is telling you they have gapped up. Even though it's profit taking, you start watching for that profit taking to end and get ready to buy, because this was the message right here that a new force had come into that trade. Or a best friend signal, like an HCR, a low price stock, but the percentage move back up to the 50 would be a good, decent trade. Now, you've got tons of fry pan bottoms out there right now. You can see what's happening in this fry pan bottom, and you can see how you got there. There's your bobble breakout. Now you're sitting right here at this level. Even though you're in the overbought area, fry pan bottom tells you you're probably going to see upside. EXAS, kind of a fry pan bottom breakout. And Monster. Oops. Well, this is more of a classic pattern. Now it looks a little bit better. There's your classic, kind of your fry pan bottom, J-hook pattern. If I have my druthers, I am going to start, or I keep looking for the pattern setups. Another fry pan bottom setup on WKHS. USAT, not quite a fry pan bottom here, but it's got that same curvature there. Notice how they started this next uptrend, breaking out through this level. So just the visual of a rounding bottom allows you to have that much more clarity in your analysis. This is a buildup of investor sentiment. And the slower that curve or the slower that trajectory is, the more likely there's a buildup of investor sentiment. So that's why we recommended BRKS yesterday, with the idea that if it came back up through this level, you wanted to be buying, and actually gapped up. So you got a trend kicker signal occurring right here at the breakout level. What do you think you got going on? Wave 1, wave 2, going into wave 3. All right, and the different sectors. The wheat stocks. Krone came back pretty nicely. It gapped up, indecision, then another gap up doji. Got to kind of figure that's got more upside. PLRY, same scenario. There's your Morningstar signal. And then your gap up. Now, what do we know about the doji? If it opens positive, you want to be buying immediately. KPTI. Now notice what this one has done. Kind of that low curve fry pan bottom, but notice what it did today. Came up and sold off, profit taking. So what do we know about profit taking? We know that if this opens positive tomorrow, you want to start buying it because that pattern is still in progress. And CVM. This is what I call the stutter step. Notice that this was not a signal. Then they pulled it back. Now this is your signal. So you had some buying, but not a real candlestick confirmation. sorry, I got distracted here. But there's your buy signal, the doji gap up. Here's one that you can see a lot of indecision down here. And now the doji bullish confirmation. You can get ready to buy this one because if this opens positive tomorrow, what other piece of relevancy can you see? They're breaking that little downtrend. A Morningstar signal. Notice where this Morningstar signal occurred, right smack dab on the 50. This one you can also be buying because if this one opens positive tomorrow, what's it telling you? They're breaking that little downtrend. And where would it, again, where do you observe the obvious? The obvious is that they bought right smack dab on the 50-day moving average, probably putting you into wave 3. All right, so the different types of breakouts that we're going to be looking for. Whoops. How did I goof up that bad? GNRC. So this is the type of thing we're looking for, is that breakout right there with a strong reversal signal. That's the type of thing that we want to be able to visually recognize before or as it's setting up. So if we've got something like this, carbon black, there's your Morningstar signal, there's your bullish confirmation of the signal and telling you that the 50-day moving average as well as the T-line is not acting as resistance. We can be buying this one with a high degree of probability that you got more upside. Sign, same thing. Left, right, or bullish engulfing right on the 50-day moving average. Get ready to buy this on positive trading tomorrow. So what we're trying to get to is being ready, because instead of buying something that's already in the uptrend, we want to be buying early in that uptrend. So we want to be able to recognize the signals and patterns that tell you the probabilities of a breakout is likely to occur. So the auto parts stocks are working. You can see exactly where the breakout was on Winnebago, right here at the 50. QCOM, you can see the basing, and this is the information looking for, the T-line. After an indecisive trading, now they're telling you which way they're moving the price trend. I think these are the. So there's that. Notice our bullish engulfing. Everything that you identify on this chart gives you a pretty good indication of the bulls taking control. Bullish engulfing, inverted hammer, doji, close above the T-line. Doji, doji, doji. Now, had this opened lower today, it would have told you exactly what happened here at the T-line. I'm sorry, at the 50. They gapped it up and went through the 50 is a pretty good indication that all this indecisiveness with gapping up from dojis is producing a high probability that the bulls not only are coming in with or in the bullish direction, but also with a lot of strength. And that's kind of the same setup we saw in, no, which one was it? Huh. I had this all set up where I would just do a nice, clever segue into it. Now I can't find. Well. Nah, I've lost it. Oh well. So here's another one where the consolidation, then the gap. This tells me they're ready to come in strong. That's one target, and then fill in the gap is another target. Yeti. If we can see a basing, a close above the T-line in a doji, if you're a day trader, if this opens positive, we've already got the prospect we could have a magnitude move like this. So it makes for a good day trade type setup. And if you're a day trader, whether you're buying the stock or the options, it's giving you a high probability trade setup. So when we're looking at something like this, notice kind of our gap up, almost an island reversal. This puts us in the right direction. Now get ready for this to break out through the resistance level. So here's another one. It has kind of a nice little island reversal. This is VC, again, one of the auto parts type store trades. But just the fact that you could identify this and then the best friend gap up tells you there's been a drastic change and usually will indicate a good, strong price move. So when we recognize when the whole industry is turning, another one that's saying auto parts, again, it puts you in the right place at the right time. Kick signal confirmation. Next target should be up here. That's MKSI. These are what I call stutter steps. So they come up, do a stutter step, and then the bulls take control. You're going to have a high probability upside potential. PTMI, same scenario. Notice your doji sandwich here. What's your upside potential? Back up to the 50-day moving average, as long as it stays above the T-line. So these are all setting up as good moves that break the downtrend. Then you usually have a little bit of consolidation, and they start back up again. And when they start back up, that's usually where the investor confidence starts setting in and coming in strong. Or if you recognize a bobble breakout, you know exactly where our next target will likely be, up here to the 200, which is almost the same as a J-hook. Instead of coming down and coming back up, they use the 200 as a support level. So this identification or this analysis right here tells us this is wave one, this is wave three. Where's wave three going? Up into new territory. EPZM, same scenario. We recognize the pattern, kind of your classic. Notice your morning star signal right on the T-line. Now a doji. If they open this positive tomorrow, what's it telling us? Probably a doji sandwich J-hook pattern confirmation. So what we really want to do is try to identify the exact spots to be getting into a trade. Lily. Is this a relevant sell signal? Definitely is. There's your best friend gap down. What else did it do? It told you that the 200 was not acting as a support level, which implies there's going to be a lot more downside. Okay. So we should be expecting a little bit of consolidation in this market. Obviously, it's had a nice, strong run, and everybody knows it's had a nice, strong run. So there's going to be some profit taking. So when we wake up tomorrow, if the pre-market futures are down slightly, just watch your long positions. Any that have had a sell signal today, that means you probably definitely don't want to be in them, or you want to think about coming out of some of them if they've done a sell signal right at a relevant resistance level. Okay, so that's about all I got tonight. There's still some good, very good charts out there. There's a lot that you can't do anything with other than continue to hold them as long as they don't create sell signals. So with that, are there any general questions on candlesticks? Let's see, that's the July gold. Let's see what August, so it looks like it's pulling back a little bit. Is there a recent sell signal in Tesla? Not really. Now it doesn't have the true reversal signal. So when you see a non-reversal signal, at least you can imply or expect there's going to be some more upside, but you get ready to take profits just at the first signs of any selling. The best friend signal, Michael, is good anywhere. Which, anytime you see a best friend signal, that means there's a lot of strength coming into that trend. How to identify a 45-degree early so we can stay in a position for the longer. Anytime I see a big move, like this, what I want to see the next day is at least strength. If it opens down here and trades down a little bit, that tells me I'm less likely to see a 45-degree. When I start seeing that it's not only not backing off toward the T-line, where they're not even backing off toward the or through the 3T line, that tells me there's still that 45-degree setting up. And that's kind of assuming, making an assumption that the of a signal or pattern is starting that potential 45 degrees. So anytime I see something like this, I'm looking to buy on positive trading after a doji type day, but then I'm watching to see whether this is going to be a shoot up or whether it's going to be more of a 45 degree, which the magnitude of the next couple of days will pretty much tell you what the strength is after that signal. Stella, you can get ready to buy this one on positive trading, kind of breaking out of this congestion area. Let's see. I had a couple questions today. The first one, this weekend, again, we're not doing it's not a repeat of the top ranked signals and patterns. It's more analyzing the signals and patterns that are right at the breakout mode and how to trade them based upon anticipating what the market in general is going to do and what to expect from that next price move. So it's going into a little bit further into the signals and patterns and analyzing them a little bit deeper and probably analyzing the ones that have a much higher prospect of trading positive at the breakout level. Hold on to your individual ones until we're almost done. Oh, somebody was asking a question. The lake training this year is August 3rd. You fly in on a Saturday afternoon. If you're flying into Rochester Airport, I usually have everybody come in on a Saturday afternoon. I'll come up, pick everybody up. We usually drive back down to the lake in time to go to dinner at one of the restaurants on the lake. And then we sit all day Sunday, which is a much better day for instructions because you don't have the markets open. And we go through everything so that if you're still learning candlesticks, or even if you know candlesticks fairly well and it's still not all fitting together, we go through step by step, not only to identify the signals and patterns, but also to explain what you're thinking or what the psychology is to take advantage of that signal or pattern. So you recognize it and change your mental framework to where you are now in control of your analysis of that chart versus letting everything else kind of tell you what to do. Let's see. So we're sitting in front of the screen Sunday, all day Monday, and the first half Tuesday. And so not only are we recognizing which signals and patterns and what they're telling us, which ones are the strongest, and then how do you apply all that information on your entry strategy, your exit strategies, taking profits, putting your stop losses in, and then at the final, we kind of go through all that process again to say, all right, if we're scanning, what are we looking for to kind of narrow our scans down to the best possible trades the next day? Once you start learning how to cultivate your analysis, basically what that's doing is every time you're on a trade, you may have found 15 good trades for the next day, but if you narrow it down to as many as what you're going to trade, in my case, it's usually only one or two to add to the portfolio, I've basically narrowed it down to which ones have the highest probabilities of acting well. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to open correctly, but the night before, I analyzed which ones had the best prospects, but I still have a supply of stocks that if the one I think was going to act the best isn't opening up correctly, I've got 2, 3, 4, 5 more to look at to see if they're opening correctly. So the whole process is, if you understand that the psychology of candlestick analysis is identifying what human nature does after time, anytime you're putting on a trade, you pretty much have narrowed it down to which ones have the highest probabilities of moving in the right direction. Okay, so, and the refreshing part is, if it's hot, which apparently this summer isn't getting hot yet, it's go splash in the water for 15 minutes, get refreshed, and then we'll be ready to go for another 2.5 at the screen. Okay, I guess with that, Jim, let's go ahead and do the double line. And in 3.1 seconds, do the next double line. Walmart, you can see how this is broken out. So right now you stay long, but this move right here, you kind of expect it to be the same as this move right here. So you just watch to see whether if you up in this area, you start seeing some sell signals. Wynn Resorts, that one has had a nice reversal in the sense that this was not your reversal signal. This is your buy signal. So there was kind of your stutter step. Showing you probably coming back up into this range. All right. Brown and Brown. I would stay long. Just use the T-line as your stop. Now remember, you're up here in the overbought area, and you almost had a dark cloud today, but you still didn't close below the 3 T-line. So you stay long as it right now stays above the T-line. STM, that didn't take. There we go. Oh, that's a junky one. That'd be a toughie to trade. If you're long, you definitely need to see this stay above the T-line. If it is lower tomorrow, it's just not a great looking chart. I'd probably be trading something else. IIPR, you can see where the wedge breakout occurred. You just stay long on this. Not quite in the overbought area. I would still have a safety stop just below today's low. Yeah, that's up to you. If you think it's getting, well, you see, you're still not in the overbought area yet, but I'd have a safety stop somewhere. Monster, you stay long, but same scenario. Put your safety stop right here just below the low of day because it shouldn't be moving back in that direction. Lilly, I would go short because it opens lower after this best friend breakdown. You've basically got a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 that's not supporting right in that area. Beazer Home had a decent chart. You could be buying this one. Now here's also one that you're just coming up. You might have a positive trading, a bullish doji sandwich. But if these are the likely targets, still also, I can do that, put a Fibonacci retracement on here. So now I've got different levels that it could possibly go to. Not that I'm expecting it to go to any of those levels. Just if I see it go to one of these levels and do a sell signal, that's pretty much where they are starting to take profit. HIM, you can still be buying this one with the expectation of coming up here to the 50. Vidu, all these. Vidu, you can be buying if it opens positive tomorrow because you've got a gap up here, then this gap which coincides with the 50. So if it starts trading positive, you can go long. Then you will use your uptrending scenarios. Another one that had done a doji in the overbought area, I'd put a safety stop at Friday's close. It shouldn't come back down to that level. Boeing, just not a real dynamic chart. As you can see, it's caught in this sideways mode. If you're long, it has to open positive and trade positive. If it opens lower and starts trading back to the T-line, you're still in this sideways. Rick, oh boy. Does somebody know how to get the U.S.? Oh, I should know. No. What would we do? That's not it. F dot X. The dollar. Oh, this is what you call a homing pigeon. It's a harami, except instead of this body being green, it's red. So if this is telling you the selling has stopped, you definitely have to have bullish confirmation. NCI, kind of a bullish flutter kicker. Get ready to buy this one on positive trading, but you can see where it needs to kind of break out. Still needs to kind of break out through that level. SMTC, you can be buying this one. Almost pretty much a morning star signal. Now bullish confirmation. Be ready to buy this on positive trading. We did win Las Vegas Sands. Stay long. You've already hit the 200-day moving average, so you want to be a little bit more diligent to see what type of signals are occurring at this level. CVS, that's a good-looking chart. You can be buying that one. Walgreens, this really doesn't have a whole lot of movement to it. If you're long, you can stay long. You just have to watch to see what happens here at the 50. NVIDIA, get a little shooting star. If it opens lower tomorrow, be prepared for it to come back and test the T-line. If it does that, it's pretty much telling you that this trajectory is disappearing. Maybe it's more of a trajectory like this. And Papa John's, there's your evening star signal. There's your resistance level. If you're long and didn't close out using that level as your stop, it has to open positive and trade positive to stay in it. And Cliffs, there's your bearish engulfing, confirmed with a close below the T-line. I'd be ready to short this one on a lower trading tomorrow. There's your obvious, the bearish engulfing right at the 50, and now today it closed below the T-line. GDOT, that's a good looking chart. Wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one on positive trading. You're in a big gap area, so that it could move pretty quick back up to the 50-day moving average. M-chip, stay long. Good rounding bottom. 50 is the target. Pier 1. That one, that way down there at that level, you should have a lot of volume to stay in this one. If you're buying it, just watch. You had a little hammer gap up. If you're buying, you definitely want to see this get through the 50. And TLRY has to open positive tomorrow if you're going to trade it long. Labu, nothing yet. This can't get out of its own way. And UNH, another one that's kind of had the little stutter step, staying above the T line. I would anticipate you're still heading up toward the 200-day moving average. Marvell was acting well. There it is. That's the one I was looking for. It had kind of a bullish flutter kicker signal. You stay long on this one with the anticipation. You have wave 1, wave 2, going into wave 3. Maxar, nothing yet. You can start watching this one because you're starting to see some buying right here on the 50. If I was short, I'd be covering the short position. You can buy this if it closes up above the T line. And what was the other one? Line. Line is kind of in that same category, but it's right here on the 50. You can get ready to buy this one on positive trading. DocuSign, nah, I wouldn't be long or short. It doesn't have anything that you really can grasp onto right here. If you, yeah, that's a toughie. I probably wouldn't be long or short this one. And EMKR, there's kind of your big belt hold, bullish engulfing. I'd be a buyer of this one on positive trading tomorrow. And ABIO, this one you can get ready to go short now. It never could get back up through the 50. Then it did a shooting star, bearish Harami, confirming in this direction. I'd suspect here's your first target, here's your second target. AMD has broken out nicely. Not only did it break out of kind of a resistance level, but you can see now that it was a nice fry pan bottom. However, you've had a doji or a shooting star gap up. I'd put a safety stop at Friday's close. It shouldn't come back down through that level. AMRS, this one you get ready to buy. Wave 1, wave 2, get rid of all these. I'd be a buyer of this one. First target back up here at the 50. JYS, J-hook pattern. Be ready to buy this one on positive trading. Oop. Shooting star, put your safety stop at yesterday's close. DS, shooting star, put your safety stop at yesterday's close. GE, still not anything that I'd get real excited about. If you're long, the bubble breakout needs to open positive and trade positive to tell you they're breaking out through this area. But it's definitely not something you're going to make big money with. The TQs hit the 50. If it opens lower, look for a bobble pattern setup, meaning you're going to have a few days of pullback. MGM, one of those that didn't have a buy signal until you had a doji sandwich. Now you have another buy signal in here. You can still be buying this one. Watch to see what it does at this level. And BMS, nothing. That did not confirm today. This would be one that if you were looking to buy, on the Morningstar signal and it closed back below or right here, I'd have closed it back out because you can see it's not able to get out of this trend area. Navistar, kind of the same scenario. It has to open positive tomorrow to stay in it. If it opens lower, you just got kind of a junky chart. This OIL. Crude oil trying to bounce back up. Still needs to get back up above the 50. Let's see. Oh, okay. Got the dollar. Oh, that was over on the other. Yeah, there's the dollar. Trying to come back up. You're in the oversold area. Not anything great to the upside just yet. SNCR, I'd still be a buyer of this one on positive trading. Crone, you could still buy this one. That wasn't a signal. This was your signal when it did a bullish signal and broke out above the 50. F5, stay long. But your safety stop, let me make this bigger. Back here, or even probably right now, back below today's open. There's a gap up in the overbought area to start watching for potential sell. Now that doesn't mean it's not going to come back down here and bounce back up, but if it opens lower and starts trading lower tomorrow, I'd definitely take some profits. Square, I'd have my safety stop at today's open. It shouldn't come back down through that level. And Micron, this one you can buy on positive trading because of the gap up. You can see all the indecision down in here. Now you want to see more strength. I'm sorry, OLL. Is that it? Boy, sorry about that. It's not coming up over here. Okay, so watch to see how the markets open tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see some more consolidation. So be ready for some profit taking. All right, everybody, have a good evening. We will see you bright and early in the chat rooms. We'll see you then.